Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the singers, the singers only. Singers only. Hey, you guys, it's Kristal Cherelle from the Indie Artist School. Welcome to the Singer's Arsenal. Today, we're going to talk about the beautiful art of singing a cappella. Now, when you think about that, you may not know what a cappella is. A cappella is basically when you sing without any music or supporting tracks. It sounds pretty easy, but it can be difficult if you have a hard time staying on key. Another issue that can happen if you're not familiar with it is starting off on the wrong pitch or singing completely out of your range. For me, in my experience, I had two opportunities where I got to sing for the Houston Rockets. The first time was for James Harden Day. So I sang the national anthem for the first time at James Harden's celebrity basketball fundraiser event. And it was actually pretty good. I did find myself being very nervous about remembering what my pitch was, though. Right before I actually sang the national anthem, I got a high five from James Harden, and I was officially shook. Okay, I was in my head like, oh, say. That way I can hit that low note and it's not too far off, and that I can also sing the highest note in the song as well without any issues. Let's just say that. Because if you start too high, the one thing about that piece of music especially is that you got to get it right. It depends on if you have a really wide vocal range or not. For myself, I actually have 4 octaves. So I can get away with starting too high and I can get away with starting too low, but there's a sweet spot where I know it sounds best in my voice. Everybody is different. So for some people, starting off on the wrong note can mean complete catastrophe for the rest of the song. Or it can mean that you just miss that low note and that you do fine on the high note if you start too low. But yeah, something like that was a huge distraction because I was like, wait, what was my pitch again? What was my pitch again? And in my head, I was like, you just got a high five from James Harden. Oh my gosh. I completely forgot my note, but I just hummed in my in my mouth. I hummed in my head a pitch that I could relate to the lowest pitch in the song and the highest pitch. So in this case, I knew if I start there, it would be, oh, say. So I would do it really fast in my head. And I had to make sure that I could hit that note. If I go, I'm like, oh, nope, not that one. So I would do that a few times. Really quickly. I mean, like microscopically fast. I would do that. If you get started on the right foot, you will have a much better chance. So the second time I got invited to sing the national anthem, woohoo, I actually did good enough, even though I was completely distracted when James Harden gave me a high five. I had the opportunity to sing again. And so the next time it was at it was at the actual basketball game. It wasn't the fundraiser. So there was so many more people there. It was a stadium full at Toyota Center here in Houston. So it was very different. This time I had a pitch pipe. So let me tell you what a pitch pipe is. A pitch pipe is what looks like a harmonica, and it sounds like a harmonica too, except you can actually slide the nodules over. I say nodules, but they're like little slots of each note that you can get for yourself as a reference. So I got a pitch pipe, and I had practiced the song so many times at home that I knew exactly what my pitch was. And every time I would test that pitch against the pitch pipe to make sure I got started on the right note, it really helped it get ingrained in my head. So here's the deal. I'm like walking up to go sing the national anthem. And I'm like, yeah, I got it this time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And guess what? Travis Scott was on the front seat in the front row, and I almost tripped on a chord that was right in front of him, and he laughed at me, and that's he was cool. I was like, hey, and everything. And I was totally embarrassed. But that can be a little, I don't know if y'all have figured this out yet. I'm a little socially awkward sometimes, okay? Like I'm weird. I'm weird in a normal situation. When I'm performing, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But like just regular conversations sometimes, I've definitely had my share of embarrassing moments. You know what, now though, I've just like learned to accept it and love it and be cool with it. It doesn't even matter. I'll tell you one thing. When you nearly fall in front of someone, they remember you. You know what I mean? So like, hey, I almost fell. And it's weird because, I wanted to be like, hey, I would love to do a collab with you, whoop, 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 everything, And no, that was a no-go. I just didn't say anything besides hi and falling almost. So I didn't fall. That was cool. And I got up there and I actually still remembered my pitch. Here's the deal, guys. You know you've got your starting pitch when you can get embarrassed in front of celebrities that you admire and still remember everything that you're supposed to do. If it had been Beyonce, though, I don't know. Because she used to go to the games all the time. So if it would have been Beyonce and Jay-Z, I don't know. I might have been so shook. I have no idea. I feel like I would still be able to pull it off. But you guys, I'm just saying. So that being said, even if you've never sung a cappella before, I can tell you, you cannot screw it up as bad as I did. Before I started, okay? Like leading up to it, yes, you might be nervous, you might feel weird, all of that stuff, but just as long as you practice and you really got your reference pitch down, you'll be able to actually do a wonderful job. I'll tell you this. I had practiced that song so many times and I really didn't even remember what I did after I sang. So I got off of the court and I didn't even remember doing it. It's like I blacked out or something. It was super weird. I was totally in my head in the beginning, but then I just let my instincts take over for the rest. And it was, of course, for many people, even right now, it has a lot of meaning. I sang kind of right around that time Kaepernick was kneeling. And I don't know if I even really want to sing this song right now. But then I thought about the history, and I just wanted to do I just wanted to, whatever I do, I want to make sure that the pain and the hurt and the also determination and overcoming obstacles, all of that emotion came through in the song. So usually when I get really into a song, which I suggest for anybody who sings, to really connect with a song, even if it's a song that you might have some mixed emotions about, if you got to feel something, okay? It's very, if you don't feel anything, you're going to have a performance that shows that. So instead, I made it as soulful as I could. I just wanted to connect with the words as much as I could on that. And so, yeah, I sang that, and it's definitely one of the biggest highlights of my career. I'm glad I did it. And I'm also glad that I practiced as much as I did leading up to it, because the amount of, it's different to sing a cappella in front of, I don't even know how many hundred. There were thousands of people there. Of course, it's the Toyota Center, so I'm really bad with numbers when it comes to guessing how many people are in a place. But it was packed. Okay, so to do that, in a moment where you can hear a pin drop, like there's nothing going on, that everyone will hear you. That's a whole different level of, ooh, okay. So I don't want to freak anybody out there. If you're already feeling nervous, go ahead and go back to my nerves episode on how you can conquer that. And I just literally just now kind of demonstrated how I got through it was through being in the song and in the moment and allowing those emotions to come through. But I relied on my practice. I relied on my emotions. And it really is something that I would do exactly the same way again, minus the almost falling in front of Travis Scott part. But you need to have something portable that you can rely on when you're in public or when you're about to perform. Just a little bit before you get up there, just blow on your pitch pipe, listen to that pitch, hum it, get it in your body, remember it, and then keep practicing that over and over again so that you can always find it when you need it, okay? So that's my biggest takeaway for if you're singing a cappella. Now, there's another thing that I want to say too. If you're singing a cappella with a group, I've done this too as well, where you're singing harmonies with a group, but there's no music behind you. It's usually good to have one person run point, okay? Everybody doesn't get to decide where we begin. So you just got that one person that you're focused on. If they go over here, you go with them. If they go over here to the left, you go with them. It doesn't matter if you're like, this is not the true pitch that we're supposed to be singing. Don't be overzealous. Just follow, because you want to allow the song to sound good. At the end of the day, you want to have a good performance. It doesn't always have to be perfect. It just needs to sound musical and sound good. You want to do it this is why practice is important. You want to practice as many times as you can without any other things that you wouldn't have when you're performing. So if you're usually performing with a band or singing a song with an instrumentalist and you're going to be performing it a cappella, do not practice with the band. Do not practice with support tracks. Practice a cappella. Practice the way you're going to do it. And if you have a hard time doing it when you're in practice, then you're not ready. So you got to give yourself the time to really know the song. A cappella can be unforgiving, okay? So you want to make sure you really understand what you're doing, okay? Another thing I will say is to find the reason why this practice is so important is so that you can even hear music in your head that you can follow along with, to make sure that you do not change the key of the song as you're going. The thing is, it's usually not going to be that noticeable if you can get yourself back where you need to be. But I've heard many a cappella performances where people start in one key and end up in another. And it's like, you can't, unless you're a trained singer, it's like something, the average listener might feel like something was off, but they're not really quite sure what it is. So if you feel that you have a tendency to do that, check yourself. Go ahead and record yourself singing a cappella. Listen back. Because I will tell you, I know that the first time I performed, I thought I got off key, but I actually didn't. It was just a little hidden fear that I had. When I listened back to the recording, I was like, no, that was exactly what it needed to be. So sometimes it's like, you can trust yourself, but sometimes you can't. So it's good to record it. And if you have, the starting pitch accurate, like you're supposed to with the pitch pipe, then when you listen back, you can even have it, if there is an instrumental version of the song, you can have that playing simultaneously to see if it still fits with it. Okay. So if you find yourself, I tend to get pretty sharp in the song naturally, meaning I sing a little bit higher pitch than I need to, then you can go ahead and correct that the next time. Or, I tend to get a little too flat as I sing the song. The thing is, though, without a reference track supporting you, the accuracy of those pitches are normally relative to the music that's supporting you. So as long as you stay on key, almost no one will notice unless it sounds completely like a new melody because you've messed up the pitches too much. Most people don't do that, okay? And if you do, like I said, you gotta practice. You gotta practice, record, listen back, and check your work. All right. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for listening to the ways that you can improve your a cappella performance. And if you know anyone else who is wanting to learn how to sing and improve their voice, have them visit indie-artist.teachable.com. You can learn how you can improve your voice as well by going to indie-artist.teachable.com. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah.